Calederas. You're always so quiet and shy.
All right. Well, my name is Lori Calederas, and I am an industrial hygienist. That is not the same thing as a dental hygienist, not even close. So what I do to help support manufacturing, I do a lot of different things. I'm in the safety department, so I have to know the rules and regulations on all kinds of chemicals, of noise levels, of various things of that nature, where things have to be placed to be in a safe way. And my job is to know that. So when people are designing a new area or trying a new process, I can come and do the air monitoring or the noise monitoring or advise on where to put the fire extinguisher, things of that nature. And if there's a funny smell that's not in the bathroom, that's me. I come and check it out, and we come and figure out, is it something dangerous? Is it just a funny smell? Is it something we need to take action on? There are all kinds of other things we do, all kinds of air monitoring, in addition to just regular particles and things of that nature. We are involved in things of the new natures of lasers, of magnets, anything and everything that's research and development wants to do, we support, because our job is to know the rules and regulations so nobody gets hurt. And so that's how I help, is I know this stuff and I help to make things safe so nobody gets hurt.
Okay, thank you, Lori.
I can go next if you want. My name is Rory McCarthy. I'm environmental manager here at Brewer Science. And one of the things that makes computers work faster, better, smoother, more efficiently is new chemicals that enable things to get smaller and more efficient. And so we have chemists here that are finding new ways to make chemicals that will make the computers faster, more efficient. And every one of those chemicals, since it's new, there's not a lot of data out there, so we have to register them, not only in the United States, but all over the world. Every country has its own set of regulations that they follow. So if we import into a new country, if we want to make in the United States, if we have a new manufacturing facility that we want to build, we have to look at the real estate to see if there's any environmental things that went on there in the past that could impact a new facility. And we do that in other countries too. We look to see if there's any pollution that happened there before, and we want to make sure that we are aware of that before we buy that or lease the facility even. And every new chemical has to have a safety data sheet. So every formulation that comes up, we develop a safety data sheet. We work with the chemist to know exactly what is going into the formulation so that we can communicate that to our customers, and they know what they're working with. And then every customer has a whole set of chemicals that they're interested in that they don't want in their manufacturing facilities. So we assure them and certify that it is there or it isn't there. So that's kind of on a day-to-day basis what I deal with.
My name is Delbert Hobson. I'm the Director of Facilities and Business Continuity Planning. We offer 4 key services to support manufacturing. The first being planning. We have to ensure that we always have capable and compliant facilities that are ready to meet not just the current business needs, but the future business needs. A good, robust manufacturing organization is always growing and always changing, so the facilities have to grow and change with it. We offer design services for those as well. That's architectural design, engineering design for things like labs, clean rooms, clean manufacturing spaces, et cetera. And of course, all the people spaces that go along with those. The third key element is equipment support. So we have all of the skilled technicians that are working on everything from lasers to surf scanners to electron microscopes, to blenders, to reactors, just all different types of equipment. We make sure that that equipment is operating at its highest level of material readiness at all times. That makes sure it's safe, and it also produces a good quality material for our customers. And then the last key element is business continuity planning. we ensure that we're able to recover from any type of business interruptions. You know, in this current climate of COVID, it's a good example. The COVID has impacted manufacturing organizations all over the world. So through business continuity planning, we make sure we have systems in place where we can recover and keep the product flowing to the customer, regardless of whatever interruption we might experience.
Now, there's a lot of different job titles that you're over. Can you give us a few of the, like some of the jobs that people do? Because when we talk about facilities, that covers a lot of different skill sets.
Sure. Yeah. So in the design area, we have drafters, we have engineers, we have project managers. In the equipment support group, we have industrial electricians, we have electronic specialists, we have HVAC technicians, we have industrial mechanics, just a wide array of different unique skill sets for the broad ranging equipment that we support. And then business continuity planning, you know, we have business professionals and people that are plugged into the production and planning organization to make sure we understand, you know, what's going into the queue, what's got to come out to go to the customers, what logistics need to be supported, like shipping and receiving or quality control. So we have professionals that work with all of those different groups to kind of paint the big picture and look for any gaps that may need to be addressed if there's a business interruption. And then, of course, we have janitorial services. We have to keep the grounds and the buildings clean and operational. We also have a security team. So they're not just you know, monitoring for security anomalies and things like that, and meeting the bad guy at the door, but they're implementing security systems, anything from closed circuit TV camera systems for surveillance and monitoring, to other detection methods, response networks, liaison with emergency agencies like police or fire or ambulance. So it's pretty broad facilities. We have a lot of different entities.
Thank you. Because one of the things that instructors need to realize, or I want them to realize, there are a lot of great careers. Whenever we say manufacturing, there's a lot of skills that are all needed. They're all critical so that we can do what we do. So thank you. I thought that would be helpful. Not everyone's going to be scientists. And as much as I love science, people, it's a good thing because we're all different and we all have different interests and different skills, and it takes them all to make our customers delighted with our products.
Right. If you like playing with all kinds of scientific toys and being challenged on a daily basis, industrial hygiene just may be for you, because every day I come in, there's always something new. And there's always a new kind of tool to learn and things like that. So I have an office full of cool little tools. Shannon calls them my toys, but they're awesome. And I can measure just about anything you can think of, from light to noise to magnetism now. I mean, there's all kinds of things, and every day you learn something new. I think Rory and Cameron could probably say the same thing. Every day there's a new challenge.
It's true. Very true. All right, who'd like to go next? Andrea, how about you?
I'll go.
Oh, Cameron volunteered, so I'll let him go. I'll go after Cameron.
So I'm Cameron Stover. I'm the environmental engineer. I work underneath Rory McCarthy. Along with the registrations for chemicals, I also deal with our hazardous waste at one of our facilities. That is the management of it. So as we accumulate, because we are a large manufacturer of hazardous waste, we have to have it out of our facility within 90 days. So we have to manage the shipments of that, the profiles, and anything coming down from R&D, manufacturing, that comes to us. Throughout the year, at the same time with the hazardous waste, we have to report to the U.S. government or to fire services or the various entities around us how much we may have on site at one time, or what our accumulation of various chemicals such as nitrogen gas, liquid nitrogen, liquid argon, and those type of materials we accumulate over the year. That is called SARA Tier 2 reporting. And then we also have to deal with EPCRA Form R reporting, which is in the summertime, and that is it for very hazardous materials that go over a certain thresholds. On top of that, I also deal with our label compliance for all of our products that get shipped all over the world. As Rory said, that every country or different regions have laws and regulations that vary, and to be able to ship our chemicals into those countries, our labels have to be compliant with those regulations, as well as the US regulations. And if they aren't, they can be stopped in customs, which can hold up the products from getting to our customers in a very diligent time. That is it.
Did you talk about Green Circle?
No, so one thing our company has been for the past 6 years is Green Circle certified, which is a third-party auditor company for zero waste to landfill. That means none of our waste goes to a landfill here in the state or in a industrial landfill for our day-to-day operations. Most of our hazardous waste, it goes to a reuse project, which is about 70% of our hazardous waste. And then the rest is burned right away in cement kilns for the energy from it.
That's important. I don't know that people realize that is a difficult task to keep everyone on track, because it takes everyone paying attention to make that possible. Thanks, Cameron. Andrea, I can tell you're eager to share.
You know me, I'm never one to shy away from talking. Although myself is not my favorite topic, but I'll give it a go. So my name is Andrea Chacko, and I am a scientist here at Brewer Science, and I'm also a team leader for one of our R&D research groups. So myself and teams like mine and the other groups in R&D, we are responsible for the design and sort of initial research for new materials that would ultimately get transferred into manufacturing. So we are, and in addition to doing sort of the early R&D work, we also facilitate the transfer process. So we work with our product integration teams and our scale-up teams in order to, make sure that when manufacturing is making our products, they're making them at least at the same quality, usually even better than what we can do in R&D. So we work a lot with the teams to sort of ensure that the quality is there. And then we also work with manufacturing on the rare occasions that we maybe have something that kind of goes wrong, or there is a excursion at a customer site or something like that. They'll often call on R&D in order to provide some insight into what may be going wrong on the chemistry level, as opposed to in the equipment or something like that. But if there's actually something wrong with the design or implementation of the chemistry, that we're called upon to sort of provide some insight into what could be going on there.
Whenever we talk about different kinds of careers, what are some of the education, some of the skills that are needed to be successful in your part of the company?
Oh gosh, well, I think if we look across all of the groups in sort of R&D, and then again, as I mentioned, like our product integration or our scale-up teams, we have people of all different educational backgrounds and that come in with a really diverse skill set. So, we certainly have sort of the traditional science roles. Myself, I'm trained as a chemist. We have a lot of material scientists, polymer researchers, engineers. But then we also have, a lot of our employees who have different technical backgrounds. who come in and get a lot of sort of on-site training that allows them to be, really productive members of our teams and support research through, testing, synthesis, lab work, clean room work, number of different applications like that.
Yes, they're from all different universities. Not everyone went to the same school, which makes it even more eclectic and diverse.
Well, I did my graduate degree in Massachusetts, so I'm here from out there. But yeah, I mean, we have people in R&D from lots of different countries, lots of different universities. Again, different levels of education. So yeah, kind of quite a diverse group over here in R&D.
But there's also a lot of different like backgrounds too. It's not just one kind of person. It's not just the school kind of person. There are people, that were farmers before they came here and still are. There are people who came from lead mines. There are people who came from the military. There are people who came from school, and like me, I was a teacher and then I was recruited in, I mean, there are people from all kinds of different backgrounds. So it's not like there's just one kind of person, here either. I mean, there's people from all over the world too. It's like, this is one of the most multicultural places I've ever been. You got to know a little bit of everywhere to talk to people here.
I think that's what's really interesting about sort of these, technology centered jobs is we're all constantly learning. So, we're doing new things every week, every month, sometimes every day. And so, most people don't come in with exactly the training they need to do the job that they do here. There's a lot of, on-job training. Brewer's great at making sure that people are comfortable with what they're doing, trained in what they're doing. So, everybody comes from somewhere different. But that's okay because we all sort of start on the same level ground, which is, we all are learning new things every single day. So, it's kind of fun, exciting. I enjoy it.
Very true. We have not heard a word yet from Jordan. And so, Jordan, I can tell that you are eager to join in. Why don't you?
You bet, yeah.
And tell us your job type and share how your role helps company.
Of course, yeah. So it's a little unfortunate I have to follow after, some pretty good speakers here, but my name is Jordan Atkinson, and I'm a financial analyst. And our department has a big mix between business analytics, actual financial analytics, and then more actual accounting. And so specifically within my team, we are on the more analytical side, dealing with costing for different things, handling parts of inventory, and aiding manufacturing in all kinds of different ways. Mostly we play the role of almost like advising, helping people make decisions. We can't say, oh, like you can't do this, you can't do that, where we just kind of provide them the financial info they need and say, hey, if we were you, we would do this, but you kind of have at it. But besides that, we have a diverse background on our team. My manager has her kind of degree in engineering. My degree is in economics, and my two other coworkers have their degrees in accounting. And while there is some overlap, I mean, we really come from different backgrounds. One of my coworkers handles things like depreciation of current equipment, as well as securing financing for that capital equipment. I personally handle things like modeling of costs and making sure our different engineers, when they want to maybe trial a new part out, or for example, a new filter in a recipe, they can come to us and we can show them, like, here's how it's going to affect costs from beginning to end. Or if they want to maybe play around with other parts of the recipe, we just show them how that will impact it. And again, just playing that advising role and hoping they can make a good decision based on the information we can provide. Besides that, we also handle standard costing on new parts and maintain the ones we currently have and track down any variances. So when our engineers do want to try something out and maybe swap those parts out, we can later, maybe a week or so later, be like, hey, you tried this, that didn't exactly work so well, and try to give them some advice on how they can improve in the future. We also help with sales forecasting, and that sales forecast data helps our, I guess, our supply team kind of predict manufacturing volume for the next year that they can spread across various months. In other places, I know some of my fellow employees handle things like taxes and government contracts. I'm very thankful I don't have to partake in some of those. But again, yeah, we're from very diverse backgrounds, and we all come together to help our fellow colleagues here at Brewer Science. And before I started here, I didn't go to university until a few years after I graduated high school, and I kind of took a break. And my family owns a big farm, and I just thought, hey, this is probably what I'll be doing. And I really enjoyed it. And then after a while, I was like, well, maybe I'll give higher education a shot. And I did, and landed at Brewer Science, and it's fantastic here. Absolutely love it. I just today finished my first 3 months at Brewer Science, and my manager has been very open and clear, as well as her manager even, that if I'm not completely satisfied with my role, I can try new things out, pick up new little projects to try to carve out my own niche within Brewer Science. And I know a lot of places don't let you do that. You kind of have a role and they educate you the best they can, or expect you to come in with that education to perform that role to the best of your ability. And Brewer Science kind of looks at it from a position where we want you to perform that role to the best of your ability, but maybe there's something that you're a little bit stronger at, that you can bring new perspectives to the table and go from there. And so for me, I was familiar with Brewer Science, so I went to university here in Raleigh, and I heard about them. I think right after my first year, I said, hey, that place sounds neat, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life still at that point. And eventually, closer to graduation, I had multiple job offers. And I mean, I'm sure everyone here can agree, Brewer Science just offers so much more than any other place I had applied to. So I took it, and I'm very happy right now with my current career trajectory.
Thank you.
Well, I can step in and say that, my career path wasn't always straight as many people's are. I think Andrea, for example, may have always known she wanted to be a chemist because she seems to have her head on straight and she knows exactly where she's going. Well, I didn't. Not at all. I went from being a restaurant manager. I joined the Army. I got married, had kids. Then I became, went to school. I got a biology degree. I became a teacher. And then from teaching, my husband got this job at Brewer Science, and it sounded like Star Trek. You got to have this badge and your fingerprint to get in the door. What is this place? What are you doing there? Well, we're working with lasers, and we got all this kind of etching stuff that's like plasma, and like, what? And I was like, how do I have all this education and you're in there? What are you doing there? And so I decided to apply. I got an internship, which was crazy because as an intern I was making the same as the teacher, and it worked my way up from there, and I decided I'd try out for this industrial hygiene job because I was going, I had already gotten my master's in education, and I thought, well, I plan on getting a PhD in occupational epidemiology, let's see if this will work. Well, I got the job as the industrial hygienist, and I learned so much right away. I mean, it was just they sent me to training. They made sure I had everything I needed. Every new weird thing that came up, I know, okay, now I need to learn about lasers. So they'd send me to laser training or magnet training or, OSHA 40 hour or whatever it might be. There's a new need that came up, and I hadn't got trained on that just yet. So they would send me to get that done. And so it's not like you're expected to know everything that's ever going to happen in your job. As new things come, they train you. And it's a really great place because I don't know of anywhere else, and I've been other places that that works like Brewer Science and is really like a family. Like I was going to say earlier, everybody on the screen, we all work together. Especially I work with facilities a lot. I work with environmental a lot. I'm thanking goodness that I don't have to do the finance job, so I'm glad that you guys are doing that. The chemistry too, there are excellent chemists, so I don't have to know all the chemistry myself. There are people I can go to and ask. So this is like a gigantic family. Some people you work with all the time, and some people you work with every now and then, but there's no other place like this. They give you everything you need to be successful. All you have to do is ask.
Does anybody else want to share when they aha moments that they knew this is where they needed to be?
Yeah, so Lori is totally right about me. I knew about, I think I was 6 years old when my parents bought me a microscope for my birthday. So I was, that kid. But so I always really knew I liked science and math. I was always very strong in science and math. And then I think senior year of high school, I took a chemistry class. It was the second chemistry 2, and I had probably the most amazing teacher I've had in my many, many years of school. And she really was very passionate about chemistry, about science. And she was very open about that with the students. And it kind of made me think, okay, I think chemistry is something I really want to give a try. And so I did my undergraduate degree in chemistry and actually thought I would go to medical school. I think that was kind of my original thought. And then my junior year of college, I signed up for a research experience, undergraduate research experience with one of the professors at my university. And I don't think I ever looked back. I mean, I just really loved research. I like solving problems. I like difficult questions I don't know the answer to and may never know the answer to. And yeah, that was such a challenge and it was so much fun for me. And that was it. And then from there, I said, how do I do this for a living? And he said, graduate school. So I went to graduate school and got my PhD in chemistry. And then when I was looking for jobs, I interviewed at a career fair with Brewer Science. And as again Lori mentioned, it was a unique place. I think compared to other places that I had interviewed, it seemed a lot more sort of nurturing, family-centric. Again, lots of opportunities to grow and try different things. And yeah, this is my first and only job. Been here since I graduated.
I find this incredibly interesting. Rory, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I guess it kind of goes back. We lived in South America, and I told my dad said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I think I want to be a geologist." And he said, "Geologists are crazy. You don't want to be one of those." And so I just I wrote to some schools, and they came back with geological engineering, and I said that sounds really interesting. So I got into that, and Dad worked around the mines and things, and so it was you kind of see how the environment is affected by mining, extractive mining. But I loved material processing, and so I worked for Dow Chemical out of school, and worked around the coal mines and the iron mines and the lead mines and everything, and you just see what's going on, and then kind of change gears going into environmental compliance at Fort Leonard Wood, there with the landfills and then the military impact, and cleaning up remediation from World War II, at the St. Louis Ordnance Plant, and then when this job came up here, that was I just passed 20 years here, and it really sounded interesting. It was totally different. It was a totally different type of compliance, but it was more related to the chemical impacts and things, and how I could be a part of stewardship there. And then as being here, looking, Terry Brewer is just so passionate about the environment and being efficient. And so looking at having the opportunity to look at new energy sources, we look at wind energy now, we look at solar energy. So I think just going back and the recovery of having been around the aluminum, the bauxite mines where they, and the dams that they built to produce hydroelectric energy and what it takes to make aluminum, and then to see Brewer Science hosting a electronics collection where you're collecting all that stuff to, instead of going and mining it, you can mine it right in your backyard with all these collections of all the metals and plastics that are out there that have already been produced, and then you can have a lot lower impact on the environment. So
Interesting. Does anyone else want to share? I don't want anyone to do anything they're uncomfortable with, but if anyone else wants to share, I really want our instructors to realize that everyone is on their own path, and we all learn and grow at different rates, and that's all right. Look at where we are today.
I think Del has an interesting experience, like on his journey to get here. I don't know if he wants to share or not, but it's very interesting to me.
Just I kind of grew up professionally speaking in nuclear power. Went to Naval Nuclear Power School and Hampton University, and worked about 8 years in the industry. And when I got out, I found myself in cryogenics for about 15 and a half years, and before I landed here. So getting to learn the semiconductor industry and everything that it touches, it's one of the things that I loved about cryo. It really touches every aspect of our lives, from hospital respiratory oxygen to atmospheric packaging in your potato chip bag. That's not air in there, but come into Brewer Science, and then it's kind of the same thing, right? The semiconductor world touches everybody because everybody uses some types of device or technology these days. So, in speaking to educators, I would just encourage them to talk to their students about, it doesn't matter really what your interests or aptitudes are. There's a place for them in semiconductor manufacturing environment. We have everything from security personnel to PhD chemists to technical analysts, statisticians, industrial maintenance people. Really, if you have any interest or aptitude in just about any area, you can find a place in semiconductor manufacturing. So, and the other thing I would say is, especially educating children in rural Missouri, don't let them be afraid of the applications, right? The children, especially children that grow up in remote areas like this, who aren't exposed to a lot of things, we tend to have this notion that that's something that somebody else does, but not something that I could do, and that's absolutely not true. Students in Missouri have gone on to do amazing things and work in nuclear reactors all over the world and things like that. So encourage them that if they have an interest in and a passion, pursue that. They can find it. They can find it here, but also don't be afraid, right? Just because we have lasers and plasma etchers and advanced technology, it doesn't mean that it's beyond them. They can absolutely do that and find a home here.
Thank you, Dale. Cameron, you've been exceedingly quiet. Do you want to share it?
I don't have much to add to that, but I would say get out and explore and try everything. I know myself, I had one path that changed in college because I didn't like that path anymore, and I never researched anything. So I was still on a very narrow path, but that's why I'm saying learn, explore, do a wide range of things so that you get a feel for everything.
Now, I know Cameron started his career as an intern, because I remember him coming through as an intern, and that's a great pathway if you're not sure to try and see if this is a place that would be a good fit for you. I know sometimes people think, I hope they like me so I can get a job there. But if you're the person interested in a job, it's a good idea for you to see if you like them too. It's not just about an employer liking you. If you don't feel like this is where you need to be, it's difficult to be successful there. So Cameron was someone who came as an intern and worked as an intern for quite some time before he transitioned into a full-time contributor.
Another thing is that when you are here, if you decide you want to switch to something else, Brewer Science they can train you on a lot of things themselves. But if you need to get a degree to do that something else, they do have a reimbursement program. So they do encourage almost everybody to go and get higher education or even a tech degree. They'll help pay for that, if not completely pay for it. And then there's also something called the Walk a Mile program, where if you're not sure that you're in the right place, you can follow somebody else around for a day or up to a week, I do believe it is, and see if you like their job and see if you want to join their team. Because just because you may not like what you're doing right now doesn't mean that you're not going to like what that guy over there is doing and want to join that team. Maybe that team just fits you better than the team you're on now. And they give you the opportunity to do that, which is unheard of in today's age.
Well, is there anything else that anyone would like to share that we think the teachers might find helpful whenever they're training students and really trying to inspire that next generation? Is there anything else that you want to share?
I would just say that manufacturing jobs, they offer a competitive wage. It's not like that these are low skill or low wage jobs. They really, they are so important to the company and to our customers that you can earn a good living doing manufacturing jobs and also in the support roles that you've heard about today.
And I think a lot of it is about asking the questions. You keep asking questions here because things change all the time. Because we don't have the answers to everything. It's more about, what's the question and then trying to find that answer. I think that's so huge in the working environment. And then as teachers too, probably they find that big impact with that.
And I think too, the recognition that manufacturing today looks very different than manufacturing in the 20s and 30s and 1940s. Manufacturing isn't always an assembly line where you're standing in one spot and waiting for something to come by you on a conveyor belt. It's very different in this industry. Manufacturing is high tech, and it's not dangerous, and it's not dirty, and you can support your family. I think the other thing maybe that the message that we want instructors to understand is it is a learning environment. We're constantly learning. So not everyone has the passion for learning. But if you're going to be successful in manufacturing technology products, it will involve a lot of learning and problem solving. We're all in this one together. I think the future of manufacturing looks wonderful because what I've seen in the time I've been in science is companies had moved businesses overseas thinking that manufacturing was in some way better and offshore someplace. And now we're seeing there are companies coming back to our country to manufacture because manufacturing is important. And it takes a lot of support to keep a manufacturer successful and to keep the customers that use those products successful. So I think that everyone that's involved has to be good at what they do so we can all be contributors. Lots of skills to keep us all going forward.